All right. Well, let's at least recap the season for what it was. Cardinals fired Matt LaFleur. Mike Tomlin was fired in Miami. Mike Zimmer retired. Mike Vrabel was fired, and Brandon Staley was fired as well. And nothing we really have to do there in terms of worrying about firing anybody. So the final standings: Browns are the number 1 team in the league at 13-4. AFC North went to the Browns and the Ravens. Steelers and Bengals 9-8 both missed. South went to the Jags by 2 games. East went to the Bills and Jets. The West to the Chiefs and the Raiders. Broncos and Chargers missed. The North in the NFC went to the Bears and Packers. South went to the Bucks. They were the only team to make it. NFC East, Cowboys and football team. And again in the West, Seahawks and Niners. So worst team in the league, you had the Lions and Cardinals both at 4-13. We are apparently 22nd. One of numerous teams who only won 8 games. In terms of the stats on the season. So Colt was 15-8. 2,600 yards when he went down to injury. Awful. Mahoney was 10-8. Stafford was 10-4. Obviously helped out a little bit in that final game. We just had massive struggles at quarterback. Colt likely would have turned it around, but Matt Stafford apparently averaged 56 yards a game. Running wise, Edwards-Helaire limited to 175 attempts on 972 yards. He had 11 touchdowns. Johnson had 7 on the ground. Edwards was 6. Receiving-wise, Terry did finish with over 100 receptions. Hardwick with 84. McLaurin with 1,400 yards. Our touchdown leader was McLaurin and Hardwick with 7. Pitts had 6. On the O-line, 18 sacks allowed by Eric Colbert on that left-hand side. Defensively, Barnes and Thomas both over 100 tackles. 13 tackles for loss with Austin and Davison. I have no idea where they were in that Saints game. 4.5 sacks for Davison and Ellington as leaders, and that shows the injuries and how bad we were, because he had 11 in the last 2 seasons each, and this year he only put up 4.5. Just a god-awful season. Bucker was 23 of 24. We only punted 41 times. Around the league, I think we kind of have a general idea now of how good some quarterbacks are, like the IRL quarterbacks. Most yardage, Jordan Love beating Mahomes, Herbert, and Fields, all with over 5,000 yards. Touchdown leader was Dak Prescott with 51. 51. It Fields, Mahomes up there, Beckham, Herbert. And most interceptions, Herbert and Watson with 18. Rushing leader in terms of yardage, James Robinson with 1,800 yards on the year. Touchdown leader, Aaron Jones with 22. Receiving leader in terms of receptions, DeAndre Hopkins with 110. Terry was tied for 3rd. Yardage leader was Darnell Mooney. And the touchdown leader was Darnell Mooney and Jeff Spiller. So a really great year for the former Tulane option. Blocking-wise, worst O-lineman in the league was Larry Borum. And defensively, Tremaine Edmonds, 141 tackles. Sack leader was Brian Burns at 19.5. And the sack leader, Yair Alexander, with 8. Bucker hit the most field goals this season. Did not have the perfect percentage like some of those other guys. So that's it for season 6. Injuries aplenty, disappointment aplenty. We didn't make the playoffs, and we move on from defending champions to out. More deflating than a Colts playoff game. Let's see who makes this year's Soupy Boopy, because it won't be us. Bills and Niners. So the Bills beat the Raiders, the Chiefs beat the Jets, Ravens beat the Jags, the Ravens also beat the Browns, the Bills beat the Chiefs, and the Bills crushed the Ravens. On the NFC side, Seahawks beat the football team, Packers over the Cowboys, Niners over the Buccaneers, I should say. 42-6, Green Bay over Chicago. San Fran sneaks by Seattle, and then San Fran beats Green Bay. So San Fran and Buffalo, the Soupy Boopy in 2026. I still can't believe this team didn't make the playoffs. Like, I'm frustrated over that overtime, just because it would have been nice to know if I had a shot. Like, if we had won, would we have made it? Like, that's the question. If we had won that game and completed that comeback, it was just a bit too much. We made literally one mistake, and it cost us. But would we have made it? And we'll never know. We'll never know had we won that game against the Saints, if we would have made it. We'll never know. And it sucks. No Kansas City in the Soupy Boopy, right? So, I see someone in chat saying Bills lost. That's not a guarantee that San Fran wins. I've seen the team that wasn't highlighted like that on the Super Bowl screen still win. So, it's not a guarantee. It does happen a lot of the time, though. I'll give you that. The yearly awards. MVP was Patrick Mahomes. Again. Coach of the year was Robert Saleh in Jacksonville. Certainly not Kyle Shanahan this year. AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Patrick Mahomes. Defensive Player of the Year, Rashaan Evans. Football team was 8-9. I mean, I don't know if I would have had the tiebreaker over them, though. It would have been a toss-up at least. Actually, no, we would have been 9-8, right? Yeah, you're right. If we won, we would have made it. If we won, we would have made it. Motherfucker. I mean, we still would have had to deal with Matt Stafford being our quarterback, though. Like, what are the odds we would have made a miracle run, you know? Like, Colt Johnson got hurt, and that was basically it. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Trayvon Herring for the Miami Dolphins. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Glenn Person. The Person. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Year, Dak Prescott. Defensive Player of the Year, Brian Burns. Barnes was 7th. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Zaire Rout, the running back for the Niners. Elton Mahoney finished 3rd, for God's sakes. And Defensive Rookie of the Year was Trevin James. Hugh Knighton finished 4th, despite being the #1 overall pick. Everything about this year was a season to forget. The winner of Super Bowl 61. Case in point, the Buffalo Bills. Falcons win their first, the Bills win their first. The following year, Matt Milano, Super Bowl MVP, as the Bills win their first title. The year after the Falcons won their first. I can't believe we didn't make the playoffs. It hurts because, I mean, again, had we made it, who knows what would have happened. But it hurts so much because that's a year wasted of this core. And yes, I'm well aware of what the cap space said. We'll see what happens. Vrabel goes to Minnesota. Stanley to Tennessee. Matt LaFleur to Miami. And Mike Tomlin goes to Arizona. And I'll do it for Crash, because I know how proud of it he is.
Oh, if it doesn't break the first time, you know what they say?
Bills Mafia!
Oh, God!
God damn. You're welcome, Crash. You're welcome. I'm gonna put this in image quality. See what it looks like now instead of performance. I just can't believe we didn't make the playoffs. This might aggravate some people. I don't really give a shit. I'm clearing cap penalties. And let's move on. I mean, I don't even know. Like, we're probably gonna have to move on from certain people anyway. 2026 retirements. Ron Armstead, Bakhtiari, Jarvis Landry, and OBJ. Aaron Donald, Mike Evans, Shaq Barrett, Zach Martin, Michael Thomas, Shaq Mason, Eric Ebron, Tooney, and J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins. Boo, how dare you enjoy your game, right? Well, I mean, I wouldn't have signed certain players if I wasn't planning on doing that, obviously. You missing the playoffs is better for us long term, I disagree. XFL legend P.J. Walker. C.J. Mosley's gone. Frank Clark. Jimmy Garoppolo. Stafford did not retire, by the way. Matt Stafford's determined to come back for more, considering we weren't going to win. I mean, there's no guarantees. You never know. You never know. This team could have figured it out. So, right now, in terms of available cap, we are boned. We're going to have to trade away some pieces off of this team. Let's go ahead and get our scouting done. Honestly, here, let's take a look. So, quarterback-wise, I mean, there's a couple of guys here in the second round that could be worth it. Kevin Callahan out of Michigan. John Thompson, we could take the risk with. He's also 23, though. There was Devlin at quarterback, Callaway, and Watkins. Aside from that, Jason Carpenter ran a 4.58 as a scrambler. Jeff Porter out of Georgia. I mean, not that I think he's going to be that great. You know, fuck it. We'll handle that when we get closer to the draft. I don't really care if I scout somebody that turns out I shouldn't have. Let's just see what we got. The most important thing is to see who's available in free agency and who we're potentially going to be moving off of this team. So, we'll see what happens. But, damn. Okay. So, in terms of players that we can, in fact, move off of this team, I mean, we actually have $9 million in cap space. Draft pick-wise, right now we have the 11th overall pick. We don't have a ton of draft capital like we normally do. Colt doesn't even show up as our quarterback right now because of the injury. Edwards-Helaire's not making that much, nor is Beverly, so they're both going to stay. Obviously, Peters. The big question is, do we trade Terry to free up a crap load of cap space? Honestly, I think we got to see who else is out there. There's also a bunch of practice squad guys that just signed. It doesn't matter that Terry's 30. He's still one of the best wide receivers in the league. And that's the point. Like, it doesn't really matter how he regresses, you know? Like, that's not the point. Like, he can regress all he wants to. He's still going to be better than our other options. Let's get rid of Goldman. Brian Booth, again, let's just get rid of all these practice squad guys to see how much money it frees up. And, again, if there are free agents out there that we like, we'll make moves. If not, we can at least keep the roster that we have. Which, I mean, isn't a terrible idea to keep the roster that we have. When this roster's fully healthy, they can win Super Bowls. Or at least a Super Bowl. Yeah, Bolden we'll get rid of too. Alright, so we at least get rid of the auto-sign players. Let's see who's out there in free agency. Again, right now the money is very much not there, but you never know. Fred Warner's available. At quarterback, Roy McDonald. There's also Dalton Pittman. I mean, it's pretty obvious, though. Like, Colt's a better option than Roy McDonald. We'd have to outduel Seattle. You know, we're obviously going to stay with Colt. Like, Roy McDonald's a year younger, but he's 5 overall points worse. So, and then Pittman's older than Colt. So, our quarterback answer isn't there. I mean, McDonald, star dev, his short accuracy is shit. Yeah, no, he's not the guy. Running back-wise, Ronald Jones, but Clyde's still good. Marlon Mack, Isaiah Childs is still there. We're good at running back. I mean, with Hilaire and Beverly, we're fine. And Jeff Wilford, yeah, no, we're fine. Fullback-wise, obviously, we're good. We have Peters. We don't need anybody else. Wide receiver-wise, Devontae Adams is 34. KJ Hamler was a beast for Kansas City. I'm glad he's leaving, but he's 28, so he's not really an answer. You can say trade Terry to try and sign Hamler. Not worth it. Harvey Meekins. 25 and an 84. Dion Long. I mean, if we were to go after a wideout on the free agent market, it could certainly be Harvey Meekins, but it would mean that we absolutely have to trade Terry. And we trade Terry just for a chance to get this guy, I'd rather try to draft somebody. It's not worth trading Terry for a 50-50 shot at Meekins. Tight end-wise, obviously we're fine. Don't need anybody. On the O-line, Gil Hamlin wouldn't be that bad. Jarvis Cheeks is 27 and a 79. Problem again with Hamlin, we'd have to outbid. We'd have to outbid competition, and honestly, like, he'll finish about where Colbert is by the time it's all said and done. Pay is a bit too old. Lindsley is old as hell. There's not really too much we can do. I mean, obviously, I have yet to see anybody where I'm like, yep, definitely move somebody to try to sign this guy. Paul Mann. Peyton Turner has a legend picture for some reason. Court, what's going on? I'm doing well. This team is not. The team bus got T-boned. And everybody got hurt. Ramon Goodwin's an interesting one, though. 11 bids for that guy. 25, 82, and a star. I mean, he's better than Woodard is at the moment. The idea of move Barnes. It would open up space for Phelps to be the starter anyway. That's a possibility. And then at corner, we're fine. At safety, we're fine. So there's only one move that I would make, and that's trade Barnes to free up space for that outside linebacker. Colt broke his ankle, and we missed the playoffs. That's pretty much what I mean by everybody got hurt. Buffalo won the Super Bowl, though. Yeah, Bucker's still better than Sanders. I mean, you're younger, but... Alright, so Ramon Goodwin would be the guy to go for if we were going to get anybody. In terms of trading away pieces from this team, and you could argue Holcomb, but he's really not making that much. Pitts is making a lot. Colbert, Lehman, Lindstrom, Vernon. Again, you can't trade right tackles. Probably paying a bit too much for our depth on the defensive line, which isn't surprising. Davison's making 15 mil, for God's sakes, but he's an X factor. I mean, Jawan McLean making that much money is expendable. We have Scott, who's younger, just as good. So, Jawan McLean, we're going to try to move on from. Presley can stay for the moment. But yeah, we'll try to move on from McLean. And then Cortland Ellington also ended up with a massive pay upgrade. As did Scott Simpson. I knew the Scott Simpson contract was fucking ridiculous when I signed him, but I wanted the ability to at least trade him for something. So he's definitely gone. And again, Barnes could also be on the way out. He's 29. If we don't end up with that free agent, Dominique Phelps is behind him. And if we do end up with that free agent, we're looking pretty good. I think it's kind of time for Barnes to go anyway. And needless to say, that would free up all the cap. There is a team that's interested in all of them in Denver. They have the 15th pick. And we're going to see what this could potentially look like. I think that 15th overall pick is possible. I'd gladly take the 15th pick in this draft to, I mean, granted, get rid of some useful players, but we would free up a lot of cap space. if it's possible. It might just be these 3 for the pick straight up. And even then, it'd be pretty close. Denver has all the cap space in the world to take on these guys, too. What about straight up? Fuck. I was afraid of that. What if we take out Simpson? How close is it? Alright, they do value him quite a bit. What if I move a 4th rounder? Debs, what's up? What if I move a 3rd rounder? Because we can recoup that. So McLean, Barnes, and a 3rd for the 15th overall pick. It's going to take a 2nd. It's worth it. We move on from the cap space. We get a high draft pick, which is exactly what we need. And we still have other players to move. So McLean, Barnes, and the 43rd pick for picks 15 and 111. Not 111, but pick number 143. Done deal with Denver. So we do move on from Chris Barnes at middle linebacker. He is only the 2nd player, along with Kevin Wilcox, from the Super Bowl championship team to leave. At least until we're done making our moves. So Simpson's got to go. At corner, could argue, yeah, Barnes had been here for a while. You could argue that Bell or Reddick should go. I don't think it's a necessity yet until we know our other options. Carlos Franklin is making a lot of money to be a 3rd choice safety. But I don't necessarily want to get rid of him right now either if I don't have to. So Simpson's the guy that we're looking to move. Preferably to an AFC team. The Chargers were a possibility. See if Miami wants him. I highly doubt the 5th overall pick goes through, of course. But yeah, unfortunately, Simpson just asked for way too much money to be a depth player. Looks like the 2nd rounder will work, which is nice. We'll recoup a 2nd round pick. We can get rid of some of the late round options. So it might be a 6th, but 2 7ths could be enough. So there we go. So it's Simpson and 2 7ths to Miami for a 2nd. That does get us into positive cap space. I mean, technically, it's saying we're in a bit of trouble, though, probably because of the pens from moving certain deals. Yeah, we're not going to be able to make a play in free agency. That's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Which is just kind of the sacrifice that we got to make. So be it. So be it. So be it. So, we'll see how free agency pans out. But for now... Why it's showing 2026 retirements when we would have seen it already. Not bad, Debs. Not bad. The most worrying I have to do about anything school related now is how much time I don't get to spend with my girlfriend because she's working. Great. It's a good time. Goddamn kids. Whew. Well, like I said, we'll get to the draft tonight. Maybe we can end things on a bit of a high note with Madden before probably switching because I can't believe that we missed the playoffs. Cannot believe it. And hopefully Colt Johnson's okay after breaking his ankle. You watch, this will be the time that we rediscover the magical world of career-ending injuries or some shit. Which would certainly affect our plans. But it showed Colt on the roster, so we should be okay. And hello, Steals. Gil Burst, by the way, out of USF. Holy shit. Alright. And returning from injury is Colt Johnson officially. So Colt is back in the fold after missing half of the year. Free agency recap. What do we got? So Fred Warner goes to Seattle. Ramshack to the Saints. Devontae Adams stays with the Jets. Ronald Jones to the Pats. DeForest Buckner to Cleveland. KJ Hamler to Baltimore. Arpey to Tennessee. Mcdonald also went to Seattle. Isaiah Childs to the Jets. Carlton Davis on the move. Braden Smith. Hey, Dylan. So yeah, you kind of a look at where some people be going. The one thing I didn't do was look at Buffalo's roster. Take a look at what the defending champs now look like in Buffalo. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, Tremaine Edmonds, Ed Oliver, Dawson Knox. They won it with the same core that they had. They also had that safety, Joe Johnson. So, yeah, man. Jamel Dean, who we had on the Falcons. Oh boy. So, yeah, that Buffalo core finally worked out. They just had to wait until 2026. So we are off to draft week. Let's see what happens. Pretty much all I can say. Let's see what happens. Flashbang out. There it is. So, the draft board. Quarterbacks. Again, if we were to look for a half-decent backup QB, it's slim pickings. It really is. A lot of QBs with apparently half-decent combine grades, but they're all kind of shit. Yeah. Running backs. Levi Flowers. Let's just go ahead and get everybody onto the list here that we're intrigued by, and then we'll readjust from there. Pretty much going to say it's going to take a 7.0 or higher to be added to our short list here. Fullbacks, we obviously don't need one. We still have Jerry. Wideouts, we'll add Byram for the moment because he could be good. A lot of wide receiver talent, which, I mean, could mean the end of Terry here. All that guy has is speed. Guy's not looking too good. Yeah, pretty much got to be close to a 7. And nobody will be close enough. Tight end wise, William Ward, Jason Cleveland could also be worth it. Like I said, we'll pretty much just get everybody on our list, and then take a look from there. Pretty much the best thing that we can do. Get everybody on the list, optimize it, see who our targets are going to be. And unfortunately, this draft for the O-line looks tragic. Jesus. Absolutely tragic. And then right tackle, there's fucking nobody. Oh my god. Alright, defensive end, Andrew Curtis, Jonathan McLeod. Honestly, Doug Clifford at a 6'8" isn't enough. I need someone close to a 7. That right-hand side, same thing. Somebody close to a 7. We're not going to see it. Defensive tackles. Again, in a year that we don't need one, there's a crap load of them. Need at least a 6 to make the short list if we don't have any information. Linebackers, Tamani Brown, Chad McPhee. Pretty good year for linebackers from the looks of it. Little linebacker, Whitlock, Dobbins, Terrence Roberson. It's actually a very, very good year for linebackers. On the outside, Lamar Lucas. Pretty much the only one. Corners, really good year for corners as well. Really good year for corners. So again, we'll have to take a look at the combine results after this and see what we got. Wilkerson, Hunter, Bradham, Greenfield. Take a look at George Hayes. I mean, there's some good players in this draft, but I think for the most part, we're pretty much just looking ahead to next season already. That's all I can really say. You know, let's see if we can just get back to the playoffs like we should be able to. So for quarterbacks on our board, again, you got like Jeff Porter, a scrambler out of Georgia. The problem is he's 23. He's relatively fast. I can't imagine he'd be drafted. Jason Carpenter's a much better option if we're going to pick an overage scrambler. Alex Watkins projected to go in the second round. Relatively fast, really good agility for a 21-year-old out of Oklahoma. There's also Marquise Callaway. He's more of a field general, so it's really tough to kind of judge how good he might be. He's also 5'11", 235, which is just very bizarre. Then there was John Thompson. Also a 23-year-old field general, tough to judge. Kevin Callahan. And then obviously the one interesting one is Brett Devlin. And how long he'll be available. But 26 reps, A+ throw power. I mean, it's listed as a mid-first rounder. And I mean, we have the 11th and the 15th. So I mean, in terms of QBs, Devlin is very interesting. As is Watkins, and then the other ones are a toss-up. Running backs. We'll start from the bottom here. Trash. Ty Freeman. Trash. Casey Emerson. Trash. Enrique Harold has strength, and that's it, so he's trash. Cameron Davis. Trash. Ronald Brown. Trash. Chad Ford. Speed and strength, not awful. Got a 4.4. Dom Ecker, trash. Jay Turk. Is Colt Johnson still with the team? Yes. He broke his ankle midway through last season, though. Which is why we're looking at quarterback options, just in case he gets hurt again. Because we were down to trusting Matt Stafford, basically, and it didn't work. Kyle Wilcox, that guy's a beast. Rashad McIntyre, not bad. Victor Swinton, not bad. Levi Flowers, not bad. There are a couple of interesting running backs we can look at throughout the draft. Wide receivers. This guy, Gil Burse, projected in the late 4th round, mid-1st round talent. Good speed and agility. Don't hate it. Eric McCutcheon. Good speed, and that's it. That's all he's got. He can't really jump at 6 foot. He doesn't have good agility. He doesn't have good strength. We're not going for him. Rashawn Fowler has nothing. Danny Blades has good jumping and strength at 6'5". It's a possibility. Matthew Kramer has good jumping and agility, but he's 5'11". It's going to be a no from me. Too slow. Emmett Agnew, fastest receiver in the draft at a 4.26. Terry might get traded, depending on who's available here. Emmett Agnew, interesting. Melvin Thomas has the jumping and strength at 6'4". Keelan Middleton, jumping and strength at 6'3". A lot of physical receivers. Glenn Lake is trash. He's not fast, he can't jump, he doesn't have good agility, he doesn't have good strength. He is listed as an early 1st round talent, so he might be great, but at 23, I don't trust it. Joe Benford, very well-rounded. Probably the most well-rounded receiver we've seen yet. Nick Banks, good speed, good agility, good strength, good jumping, also very well-rounded. Max Byram, the combine would have had to been nuts, we'll take him out. And Devonta Ware, good speed and agility. 21-year-old deep threat out of Texas. So there are some good receivers. We did not win back-to-back Super Bowls. We didn't even make the playoffs because Colt broke his ankle. So, yeah. So some damn good wideouts. Pretty much nobody I think that we'd absolutely have to trade up for. Tight end-wise, William Ward. Easily the best tight end in this draft, I'm sure. Cleveland, no. Luke Zietler, not bad, potentially. Hugh Anderson. I mean, Zietler's not bottom 10 in anything. Anderson just doesn't have the jumping, and he's not great at strength. Paul Powell, no. Ben Bowler, no. And Chris Evans, superhero or not, no. So 2 tight ends that could be worth it. On the O-line, Eric Hoover looks like a beast, for sure. Aaron Hodges looks really good. Brian Harrison is trash. Best player we've seen, 81, when we drafted him last year. Ian Kutcher looks really good. Jeff Mcdonald looks really good. Caleb Page, not bad. DeMarcus Mays, not terrible. Right tackle Kevin Silver is trash. So very, very few O-line options in this draft. Edge, Andrew Curtis, not terrible. At least has the speed and the agility. Jonathan McLeod is trash. Lamar Wynn has the speed and agility. Jose Woodley is trash. Alex Brown has the agility and the strength. Keep him in mind. Goodness. Goodness. Alright. Let's see what else we got here. Defensive tackles, there are a lot of them. Bradley Holloman looks great, but he's 23. Tremont Felton, not bad. Ross Macklin, okay. Perry, okay-ish. Boswell, not bad. Christian Moore, not bad. Some really good defensive tackles, but that's probably the position that we need the least. But if people slip down the board, we'll be there. Linebacker, Tamani Brown. I don't like him. He's not fast. He doesn't have great agility. All he has is really good strength. I don't like him. Chad McPhee. Good speed, agility, and strength. I don't like him. Don't trust it. Solomon Farr. Decent speed and strength. Okay agility. We'll keep him. Bud McCann. Good agility and strength. Not the best speed. And Kylan Porter. Looks great. Just doesn't have the speed. He's slow. But good agility. Good strength. Middle linebacker David Whitlock. Good speed and strength. Okay agility. Marcus Dobbins. Very well rounded. Terrence Roberson. Not good enough. On the outside, Lamar Lucas looks good. Speed and agility to burn there. Dalton Coakley, not bad. Barry Booker has the jumping and agility, the speed, and that's not bad. Josh Carruthers, not bad, just doesn't have the jumping. Andrew Cooper does not have the speed or the jumping. He does have agility and strength. I don't know about that. Isaac Sapp looks great. Demetrius Killings, pretty good. Kevin Irons is okay. He's okay. Ezekiel Thomas, trash. Christian Rhodes, opposed to Catholic Rhodes, trash. KJ Favors, trash. And Theo Wright, trash. Safeties, AJ Wilkerson, not bad. Tony Hunter. Only really has the agility and the strength, not good enough. Brandon Bradham, not good enough. Josh Greenfield, not bad. George Hayes, not bad. Walt Katz, not bad. And Rashad Freeman, not bad. Last position here, strong safety. Franklin Campbell looks really good. So I really haven't seen anybody where I'm like, we absolutely need to get that guy, but we have picks 11 and 15, and we can just kind of wait it out and know that we'll be good across the board again. And we do still have the fullback, yes. Jerry hasn't gone anywhere. Shannon McDonald's not bad. Freddie Pemberton, not bad. Barlow. It's okay. Baldwin is not. Not bad. Not bad. Not good enough. Not good enough. Alright, cool. K-Town, what's going on, man? Alright, so yeah, we pretty much have our draft board settled. I mean, there are some names I'm going to keep an eye on, but there's no one where I'm like, we absolutely have to trade up to get that guy. So we'll get 2 half-decent picks here. Detroit with the number 1 selection picks. Eric Hoover, 80, left tackle. So Hoover goes off the board there. I was really hoping. Yeah, K-Town, I mean, we pretty much simmed to try to get to the playoffs. We had a crap load of injuries and didn't make it. How the hell do I avoid the fucking white screen of doom here? Other people haven't gotten hit with it. I don't know why I have. Well, we'll see who the Cardinals end up taking here. We'll just let the timer go as well. But hope that it fixes it. Cardinals take quarterback 72, Kevin Callahan out of Michigan. Vikings at 3 take quarterback John Thompson, 70 out of Texas A&M. And the Texans at 4, we don't know. So a couple of quarterbacks are gone already. But I don't believe, yeah, Brett Devlin's still there. It's not worth trading up because of the bonus money we'd get hit with to have Devlin be a top 5 pick and not be a starter. We have to let one of these guys fall to us or the money is going to completely kill us because the money is already killing us. So we just got to hope and pray here. 82 corner Dalton Coakley went to Houston. That's the highest rated player I've seen. Miami at 5 takes 76 quarterback Brett Devlin, Notre Dame. We would have had to trade up to 5 to get him. We can't do it. We can't afford to pay a backup quarterback that much money. With how well-rounded this team is, we just can't do it. So Devlin, 3 quarterbacks went in the top 5. That was an ungodly good corner and tackle. That's a really pretty solid top 5. So we're at least up there in the 2027 draft order. Oh no, wheelchair, they haven't fixed this. They probably won't all year at this rate. Fucking Christ. The Rams at 6 take a 69 rated tackle Kenny Eaton. Chargers at 7 take 73 edge Forrest Harris. And the Eagles at 8, we don't know. So, some interesting hits and some interesting misses so far in this draft, which is exactly why I refuse to trade up. This is a dangerous, dangerous draft, is the only way to phrase it. No doubt. But our picks coming up here. And again, we have the 11th and the 15th. Thanks to trading away some guys to shed some salary here. Barry Booker, 75 corner to Philadelphia. Giants at 9 get a 72 quarterback Callaway. And the Saints at 10 get a 75 wide receiver Devonta Ware. So, who was traded? Chris Barnes and our starting middle linebacker and a couple of depth guys. We have 2 quarterbacks left on the board. Alex Watkins, who was projected to be a late first rounder. This is the guy that I was interested in as a scrambler. In terms of picks, I mean, we have the 5th pick of the 2nd round. That's ideally where we'd get him. We're not taking him with the 11th. We might have to debate taking him with the 15th. Otherwise, it's Jason Carpenter or a free agent. In terms of players that are available. Not that we need a running back because we still have Edwards-Helaire. Victor Swinton could be a good pick in terms of his speed and agility. Kyle Wilcox has the speed and the bench as a power back, but he's 23. McIntyre, very well-rounded, but he's 23. And then Levi Flowers. So, I mean, if we were to take a running back, I would definitely be leaning towards Levi Flowers. But I don't think we need him, but I'm just saying, at the moment, best player available is Flowers. Wide receivers. In terms of guys projected as first-round talents here. Burse, listed as a mid-first-round talent, has the speed and agility. Agnew, Has that incredible speed and agility. Shouldn't have to take him right now, though. He should be available later. Middleton, also a late first rounder. Has the height, the vert jump, and the bench, and decent 40 too. He's pretty good. I mean, he has the height, he has the speed, he has the jumping and the strength. Benford also looks really good. I mean, has the speed, the agility, decent jumping, decent strength. And Nick Banks, at 21, has speed, agility, and strength. So, there are some decent wide receivers. I mean, Banks listed as an early first rounder. Has the speed, the jumping, the agility, and the strength. Benford was a late first rounder. Middleton was a late first rounder. So was Agnew. So, I mean, there are some really good receivers. You could argue that maybe, just maybe, Banks would be, a potential replacement. I mean, right now it's between Banks or Flowers, and either one of those would involve us trading one of our star players. And that's if we only wanted Banks at wide receiver. Tight end wise, William Ward, we can obviously take later. Third round projection. And actually, to look back at wide receiver, I mean, Benford, Middleton, and Agnew should all go late first, early second. Banks is the only wide receiver that if we want him, we'd have to take him right now. Same for Flowers. The O-line we knew was very sparse. Defensive tackles we just flat out don't need. Mid-first round, like, even if these guys are projected to be great, it does nothing. I mean, I guess we draft a DT, but it's not as if we'd be getting rid of an older player. We'd be getting rid of another young guy. Linebacker. I mean, Porter looks really good. We should be able to take him later. Whitlock. Mid to late first rounder. Marcus Dobbins. Probably a second rounder. And then at corner, there's really four guys here. Carruthers is a late first rounder. Cooper as a mid, but again, he's the one that's just super goddamn slow. Sapp is listed as an early first round talent. And he clearly looks like the best corner of the bunch. If we wanted to take somebody who, again, is projected to go in the first round that's not a DT. I mean, again, Whitlock, I think we could get later. Whitlock's an interesting one because I don't even know if he's the best middle linebacker. Like, he's fast and strong. The agility isn't great. Dobbins has a much more well-rounded approach. But, I mean, Whitlock could be the guy. We did just trade a middle linebacker in Barnes. And then safety is probably the position that we need the least. I mean, I don't doubt that Franklin Campbell, especially as a Georgia boy, is a good pick. Mid-first round talent. So, 11th overall. We have to be damn sure, and I mean damn sure, that we're getting a stud, because we can't really afford to miss money-wise. So again, Watkins is still interesting at QB. Flowers, I mean, we have Edwards-Helaire, and he's not even 30. You know? Like, basically, we'd be... If we take Flowers, we'd be resigning to trading Edwards-Helaire and running this guy in Beverly. And then Nicholas Banks. I do think there are some other good wide receivers. How would I rank them? And Burst has the speed and agility at 22. Agnew has the speed and jumping and agility. I'd probably put Agnew over Burst. All it says Burst might be a better one in terms of talent. I mean, there's some interesting wideouts. There are some interesting wideouts. Ah, shit. Whitlock I like. We might not have to take him this early, but it's probably the only way I can guarantee that I get him. Sapp is really good at corner, and then safety. Loaf, we missed the playoffs due to a shitload of injury. Knighton did play as our starting DT, though. So again, running back, if we take that guy, Edwards-Helaire at 28 years old gets traded, and we run with Flowers and Beverly as our 2 running backs. If we draft a wide receiver, Terry gets traded, which would suck. Obviously, we'd have to worry about clearing out the cap penalty again, which is whatever, but it would be Hardwick, Andrews, and Banks as the top 3, which isn't that bad. Middle linebacker, I mean, we have Ellington at linebacker. Phelps is decent, and Woodard's also decent, but obviously it's looking a little bit weak, but we know there's potential. At corner, I mean, if we take Sapp, we're basically admitting that we're trading Reddick and Bell, and we'll run with Terrell, McKee, and Sapp. And then at safety, we have Bernard still, and obviously Alex Thomas. Bernard is a 25-81 star. Franklin is a 25-80 star. Take the need. We really don't have a need. That's the problem. It's who we think would be the best available. Or if it's worth trading down. And I don't know for sure. Like, there's a couple of guys where I'm like, yep, they're probably good. Let me see what offers we have here. So a first-round pick from Buffalo next year. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. The 19th overall pick, we'd also pick up a 2nd and a 5th. 2 first-round picks from Baltimore this year and next, along with a 3rd. So we'd be trading down to pick number 30, but we would get an extra first-round pick next year. I think that's too good to pass up. Getting an extra pick next year as well, even if Baltimore ends up being good. Because it would help us think beyond this season. And we know that there are good players. We know that there are very good players. But, I mean, Vegas's does look nice because it's 6 picks higher. But then we missed out on the 3rd next year. I don't hate the Raiders deal because we only moved down 9 spots and we kind of let, the pick sort itself out. But also we get an extra first, and there's a lot of players at 30 that should be available that we like. The 1st, 2nd, and 5th all this year from Washington. Pretty much just how much do we value this particular draft class. Well, the way I see it, it's one of those 3 or we make the pick. So if we compare Washington and Baltimore, we'd get pick number 19 this year instead of pick number 30. We'd get pick 51 this year, but we could have an extra first next year. And it's a 5th this year, but a 3rd next year. I think it comes down to Baltimore and Vegas. Because the other 2 deals are 2 first-round picks guaranteed. And this one, I mean, it's 1 pick later than Washington, and a first is more valuable than the 51st and 147. So it's just, do we want pick number 20, or do we want pick number 30 with a 3rd next year? I'm leaning towards Vegas. There's a lot of players I want, but honestly, there's a lot of players I want, but we need to save money. We need to save money. And I think the Vegas deal helps us save money a little bit better. So we're going to take that deal from the Raiders, and we're going to let this kind of short list of players we're keeping an eye on kind of slowly shorten in size. And again, we do have pick 15 coming up. So Vegas with that 11th pick took Carruthers, 75 corner. Panthers at 12 take 75 linebacker Tamani Brown. Patriots at 13 take 70 right tackle James Hayes. And the Colts at 14, we'll have to find out in a minute. So basically, none of the players I was worried about leaving just got selected. Which means, again, I think we're going to be able to trade down and still get who we want. One of those big 5 players. Because like I said, whether it's the running back, I have to make a trade. The wide receiver, I have to make a trade. Middle linebacker, I mean, we'd be taking him a bit early. Corner, have to make a trade. Safety, I'd have to make a trade. So we might as well just leave it up to chance as to who I'm going to have to trade away. And get extra draft picks for the following years. They took 75 DT Bradley Holloman. So again, I think we could trade down and get more picks out of this. Quarterback's still there. The running back Flowers is still there. Banks and all the other wide receivers are still there. The linebacker Whitlock is still there. Sapp is still there. And the safety Franklin Campbell's still there. We're just going to play this to maximize the amount of draft picks we get over the next couple of years. So we'll trade this one away as well and save money. So again, ideally it would be a first-round pick this year. Baltimore still offering their first this year and next, along with a 6th. So we'd get the 30th pick, but we'd also get their first next year. That's a no-brainer. We're taking that Baltimore deal. We essentially got the Vegas deal and the Baltimore deal. So we'll end up with their first next year, but we also get the 30th pick and 190 in this draft. So we'll take that Baltimore deal to trade down. And guaranteed, basically, at least one of those players that I'm interested in should be available with pick number 20. So the Ravens at 15. We have gone full Belichick with this draft. Saving money, trying to be as opportunistic as we can. So we'll see who the Ravens ended up taking. They took Andrew Cooper, 75 corner, not even the best corner in the draft. Bengals at 16 took the safety, Franklin Campbell, 76 out of Georgia. And the Steelers at 17 took Whitlock, the linebacker. He was a 74. So Whitlock and Campbell are both gone. We are guaranteed that one of Flowers, Banks, or Sapp are still available at pick number 20. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So, I mean, that safety out of Georgia looked good, but unless he's a superstar, he's not better than who we have. Like, that's the level of depth that we're still dealing with here. So, we'll see who these next 2 picks happen to be. I love the white screen of death. The Titans at 18 take 76 DT Felton. And the football team at 19 take Isaac Sapp, 79 corner. We knew Isaac Sapp was going to be good, right? We knew it. Malcaro, it's okay, but it's also a broken mess. I admittedly would have taken Sapp if he was available. I don't doubt that he's great. He is. He is. He's going to be a great player, but we have to play this a certain way now. We have to. So, we'll see what we have here. When's the next podcast episode? DJ and I recorded 3 today, because he's leaving in the upcoming week. You'll get more information about that on the show, but it should be up. Bumblebee, yeah, for the most part, the draft classes have been pretty nice. All right, so for pick number 20, and then pick number 30. So pick number 30, we're going to consider Watkins at quarterback, if he's available. Right now, we can absolutely consider Levi Flowers. Again, there are some other running backs, but Levi is the top running back in this draft. I have no doubt in my mind. If we draft him, it means we trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which would suck. But, I mean, he is 28. So, I don't know. It's a tough sell to pick Levi Flowers, admittedly. Because trading Clyde, I just don't know how I feel about it, even though he's older. He's not that expensive. Fullback-wise, Wide receiver-wise, Nick Banks is still there. Again, the guy that we'd probably... I mean, it says he's an early first-round talent. The combine results make me think as much. He ran a 4.38. There was Joey Benford. The problem is he's 23, but he's got the speed, the jumping. Like, he is the complete package. But we could consider Benford at pick number 30 if he's still there. There was also Middleton, who's also 23. Shout out to Jackie Moon for the follow. Middleton isn't that slow. He ran a 4.43. He has a 41-inch vert at 6'3", and he's the strongest receiver in the draft. So, again, pick number 30 could be Middleton. And then Emmett Agnew is the fastest receiver in this draft at a 4.26 that we could also maybe get with that 30th pick. So it's a tough call for Flowers or Banks. But Agnew could be an ungodly slot option. So fast. And then, of course, later on as well, Gil Burse. Pretty good slot option as well with the speed and the agility that he possesses. And then Thomas and Blades aren't even that bad. I mean, Melvin Thomas has the strength and vert jump at 6'4" as well. I think Blades was the same thing. Yeah, tall with a really good vert and strong. So, tight end wise, again, William Ward's not really in the conversation right now. That'll be later. There is still a DT or a couple DTs available, but I don't see any of them as worth it unless they fall. Although Boswell was listed as an early first-round talent by our scout, which is interesting. Early first-round talent. He's very well-rounded. He could be in the conversation at 21 years old. He could be in the conversation right now. Linebacker, Porter. And again, if Keelan Porter is not in the conversation right now, he definitely has to be in the conversation at pick number 30. Definitely. And then again, Solomon Farr is not a terrible option. Middle linebacker, Marcus Dobbins. If he's not in the conversation now, he'd be in the conversation at pick number 30. Demetrius Killings. Decent speed, decent vert, decent agility, good strength, mid-first rounder. Probably wouldn't want to take him now, maybe at pick number 30. I think if we were going to take a corner, the guy's already gone, that we would have taken. Wilkerson's an early second-round talent, so we can consider him later on. Safety. And then there's also the likes of Stroud, who does look like a beast, that we could also consider later on. There's actually a couple of safeties that we could consider with that 30th pick. So, just taking a look back through our options here. The way I see it, there are three guys worth potentially selecting with this pick. It's either Levi Flowers, the running back, Nick Banks at wide receiver, if we trust that he's that good, or Boswell the DT. In terms of what position it makes the most sense, probably wide receiver, because McLaurin's now 30 years old, and we don't know how fast he's going to regress. But I also have the ability to say, hey, you don't get to regress this fast. So, really quickly, in terms of an offer for the pick, I'm just checking. First and a fifth, first, fifth, and a seventh. Second this year and a second next year. First round pick next year and a fourth this year. We could literally trade down one spot with Tampa and pick up a fourth and sixth later on in this draft. One spot with Tampa and pick up extra selections. Might be worth it, depending on who they go for. We have Saints and Raiders offering a little bit. Packers are offering the drop down to 29. The Jets are saying drop back 2 picks and you get a third, which is worth it more than the Bucs deal. Fourth and a sixth or a third. We'd obviously rather have the third with the Jets. First this year, pick number 29, and a second next year from Green Bay is pretty damn good too. First and a second both next year, and then 2 seconds. Oh, move down 2 spots with the Jets and get a third round pick next year. Or move down 9 spots with Green Bay and get a second-round pick next year. I think we got to take that Jets offer, or we take Banks. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. Am I sold on Banks being amazing? Problem is, I just don't really see the need to trade Terry. Or we could go aggressive. But that 30th pick is really promising because we only have the 5th pick of the second round. I mean, it's true. We have a lot of options at wide receiver. It's just who is the best player in this draft, and it doesn't make sense for us to take him. Grizz, what's going on, buddy? Like I said, I mean, running back wise, Clyde's only 28. He's not going to fall off anytime soon. He's not. But if we trade Flowers, we got to give up Bev or we got to give up Clyde. Like, we have no choice. I mean, does it make sense to carry those three? You know? And in wide receiver, we could trade Terry, but the problem is Terry is still a 95 at 30 years old. You know how long it's going to take him to decline to no longer be worth it? But I mean, you could argue, well, you'd have Hardwick, Andrews, and Banks get rid of Terry and save a shitload of money. But again, Terry's just an absolute beast. Clyde has a penalty. I'm not worried about penalties. I mean, Terry has a $14 million penalty. That's the issue. Like, the players available we don't really need. But, you know, we change our situation based off of who is available. I mean, if I were to take that DT, Marcus Kennard would get traded because, I mean, he's an 83. Actually, he's only a 79. I have no idea why the hell the dog just barked either. Kennard's a 79. You could argue we need that DT. Covington's a 78. But, I mean, Knighton's what, an 83? So, like, we're okay at DT. We could trade Kennard if this other DT Boswell is incredible. I don't know, man. It's just such a weird spot to be in. Such a weird spot to be in. Damn. Give me a second. I don't know what to do here. See, the problem is, right? Like, again, we don't go for Banks. He turns out to be a game changer. Oh, shit, we screwed up. But there are other running backs that are interesting. There are other wide receivers that are interesting. Maybe not as interesting, but even Rashad McIntyre is listed as a first-round talent. He just might not have the dev pattern. Shit. Alright. I think I know where I'm going. Take the Tampa Bay trade, the likelihood of Green Bay, the Jets wanting to trade is still there, plus you get their picks. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is we got an incredible chance to just, like, maximize the amount of picks that we get. We really do. There are 3 guys that I want. We're taking the Tampa trade. If they take Banks, then so be it. We'll move down a spot and see who they take. Literally move down 1 spot. I'm not worried. Like, we have a Super Bowl contending roster when healthy anyway. Like, of all the drafts, this is probably the one I'm the most indifferent towards because we don't need a home run. We don't. Tampa Bay, pick number 20. They took Max Byram, 74 wideout. Interesting. What else is there? Pick number 27, a 3rd and a 5th next year. Again, we can move down and pick up another 4th and a 6th from New York. Flowers or Banks would be guaranteed. Pick number 26, get a 3rd and a 4th this year. Don't want to fall back to 26. We're going to take that Jets offer as well and just get draft picks from both Tampa and New York. Let's see who the Jets take. They took Larry Spears, 73 linebacker, so we just got a bunch of free draft picks for absolutely nothing. They didn't take any of the 3 players that we're targeting. 2028 first, 2028 first. Unfortunately, we can't do it again. So it's either a trade to the early stages of the 2nd round in this draft, pick 36 with Houston, and then a 2nd rounder next year. Yeah, it's either we take that Houston deal to get pick number 36 of the 2nd round, or we just go ahead and make the pick. Let's do it. We moved back enough. We'll take the risk. Out of the university, Clemson. 21-year-old wide receiver, Nicholas Banks. And now you see why I traded down a bunch of times, chat. I told you I wasn't sold on this draft. 7th best in terms of value. We get him at pick number 22. Normal dev. He's 21 years old. He's got time to develop. But that normal dev's a killer. That normal dev's a killer. He's fast, good catching. But that is why I played it safe. I was going to trade down again, to be honest, but everyone's saying take Banks, so there you go. Cowboys at 23. Again, I'm not overly upset about it. It's just our team is already a Super Bowl contender. Demetrius Killings was a 76 corner. Jags at 24 got 75 DT Macklin. Seattle at 25 took 79 running back Levi Flowers. Well, we'll see what Flowers' dev pattern happens to be, but might have been better to go with Flowers because there are other. He was easily the best running back. There were some other wide receivers who weren't so bad. So we'll see what happens. We have pick number 30. Chiefs at 26 take Watkins, the quarterback that we wanted, 72 overall. Bears at 27 take 73 linebacker Glenn. Browns at 28 take 75 DT Perry. So the running back we wanted's gone. The quarterback we wanted's gone. Boswell is still on the board. That defensive tackle that I was considering. We'll see if he makes it past Green Bay. We still have decent picks otherwise, but it's just a shame we don't even get hidden dev on that wide receiver. Absolute shame. Damn. Green Bay takes Dominic Stroud at safety. No doubt in my mind who we're taking here. And he is, in my opinion, easily the best player left on the board. There are some other guys that should be available towards the second round. Best player on the board right now is Brandon Boswell. Easily. Easily. I mean, there are some second rounders that that could be half decent. We will take another look, but I think we're pretty well locked in on Boswell. We'll try to get Jason Carpenter, later on in this draft, and hope he's not complete trash as a backup. Running back wise, again, McIntyre does have that early first round projection, but he's 23. Wilcox, probably the second best option, and then Swinton. So if we were to take a running back, it would be McIntyre. Mid first, early third, late first, late second. He'll be a second round pick for sure. And then wide receiver wise, again, Burst won't go early. Agnew we could get in the second. He's an early second rounder. Middleton's an early second rounder, as is Benford. So Ward's definitely a second rounder. Boswell's first to second rounder. Funny thing is, Christian Moore at DT is not that bad either. Both of them are very interesting. Just that Boswell's 21. Porter would be a second rounder. God damn, this... Okay. Alright. We'll look at Carpenter later. Running back wise, it's obvious that McIntyre is the best option if we were to go that direction. Ideally more of a second rounder, but that's kind of what we're looking at right now because we have pick 30 and pick number 5 of the second round. Wide receivers, I mean, Benford, Middleton, Agnew. We can get whoever the hell's left. Ward would also be an option at tight end. Take him a little bit early. Alex Brown, likely a later third rounder. So a DT, I mean Boswell or Moore, either one, and we're not doing that bad. Solomon Farr, I want to compare Solomon Farr to Killian Porter. And Farr, mid-second round talent, has the speed, has the strength, it's 21. Porter's also 21. Porter's unreal. Porter is something. Tried to hold the A button there, almost accidentally took him. Marcus Dobbins as well is a decent second rounder. AJ Wilkerson at safety isn't bad, but it would be very tough for him to be better than who we already have at safety. And McIntyre's first round worthy, all of them are first round worthy. Boswell and Porter were as well. Okay. I have it down to a handful of players. Wide receiver and DT, there are multiple players that I'm interested in that are worthy of going with this pick. So wide receiver, defensive tackle, we'll push down to pick number 5 of the second round. Hopefully there's a good answer. Linebacker-wise, there are 2 that I'm interested in. It's Killian Porter, who looks great, and Marcus Dobbins, who also looks great. And you could argue whoever's left, although Porter has the higher talent projection. William Ward was without a doubt the best tight end in this draft. And then there's McIntyre, who without a doubt is the best running back left in this draft. McIntyre has the best projection out of anybody left. He's the only guy out of the guys I'm considering, out of the 4 right now that has early first round projection. But the problem is he's 23. Obviously that scares me a little bit. Ward is 22. Then we got Porter at 21. Dobbins at 22. I think we're going to go for the home run here. I mean, I'm worried about Porter's speed. But the agility and the strength that he has. Hopefully one of the 2 DTs will be left. I think I'm going to go with Killian Porter here. It's a somewhat off the board pick, but we're going to go for it. Killian Porter. 75 hidden dev at 21. Not bad. 19th in true talent. We got him at 30. Out of the University of Virginia. 83 speed, but he does have 91 acceleration. 79 tackle. 87 agility. Doesn't get hurt. Doesn't really get tired. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. We'll see who's going to go next here and who's still on the board for us. Actually, you know what? Let's just sim to our pick, because fuck the white screen. Let's see who's still left out of those picks that we were really considering here. So McIntyre's still there. Benford and Agnew are still there. Middleton's off the board. William Ward at tight end is still available. At DT, both defensive tackles are gone. Boswell and Moore. Not surprising. DT wasn't in extreme position of need. And Marcus Dobbins is still there. So, we don't have another pick until the 3rd round, so this is pretty much our last shot of the home run here. It is either McIntyre, who again has the highest projection left according to our scouts, but he's 23. There is the tight end, William Ward, who is clearly the best tight end in this draft, and I'm really leaning towards him to have him as a dual threat with Pitts. There's Dobbins again as a middle linebacker. Would also be nice. And then there's the wide receivers in Benford and Agnew. Benford, good, I mean, again, incredibly well-rounded receiver. Agnew, the fastest receiver in the draft. I think it comes down to Emmett Agnew for the speed, or it comes down to William Ward. And I normally avoid taking tight ends, so we're going to take William Ward here with this pick. We're already stacked at receiver. William Ward's the pick. And we have that dual threat now to go with Kyle Pitts. 20th in true talent. We got him at 37. 75 hidden dev, 22-year-old. 86 speed, 84 catching for a tight end. Aggressive catch. 80 catch in traffic. Not bad at all. So now we have that dual threat with Kyle Pitts. Well, we're just going to go ahead and let these picks go. Instead of trying to trade up a ton, which would just be a pain in the ass, we'll let it go, and we'll see who's left. So Burst is still there. Danny Blades is still there. We will go ahead and do what we always do. We'll reorder the board. The reason why I didn't want to trade up, I mean, we own half the 4th round. I mean, you could argue perfect reason to trade up, but for the most part, I mean, just more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. I don't know. Maybe we should have. We have so many 4th and 5th round picks. But I still think we'll be able to get some good players here. But again, if you want to argue I should have traded up, I won't disagree with you. It was more laziness than anything. We'll see if we can have a decent end of this draft. So, in terms of the picks that we're considering, it's Danny Blades, Aaron Hodges, Andrew Curtis, Alex Brown, and Josh Greenfield. Honestly, Bursts and Irons would probably need to be considered here as well. So, if we're looking at wide receivers, defensive line, we're looking at secondary options. So Kevin Irons has really good agility and vert jump. The speed's not horrible, but he's pretty weak. Josh Greenfield at safety. Decent speed and agility and strength. Really good vert jump. Alex Brown on the D-line. Andrew Curtis. Not bad. Hodges on the O-line. I think we're looking at one of the wide receivers. And it's either Burse, who again, pretty well-rounded in terms of speed and agility, or Danny Blades, who is 6'5", with a 38-inch vert. This guy, though, with that speed, has a decent release. Gil Burse. I'm going to go for Gil Burse with the pick. He's better than the guy we took in the first round, and that's why I was going to wait, chat. But don't worry, you can wear that egg on your head from that first round wide receiver pick. 12th in true talent, we got him at 75. It's okay, Chad. I've fucked up draft picks too. I've fucked them up too, but I gotta give it back to you a little bit. Except for Crash Andrews, he didn't want him. But yeah, 96 speed, 92 acceleration, 94 agility, 85 catching, 81 release. Hello, Gil Burse. That's 6'1". Oh yeah, Flowers, the running back, will probably end up being a stud. For sure. I'd bet on that. So to the 4th round we go. Let's see who's here. So unfortunately, anybody else I was really looking at's gone. So here, clearly, we're going to take the quarterback out of Florida, Jason Carpenter, and just hope for a miracle. 63 normal dev. Not surprising. 85 throw power, 85 speed. Yeah. He was the only quarterback left that I had any sort of interest in. He can at least be our backup next year. Just kind of a shame. Let's see who else we got here in the 4th round. Definitely should have traded up because we have a lot of 4th round picks, but that is what it is. Next. Ian Kutcher looks like a great O-lineman. Hayes doesn't look that bad at safety. Let's go for Ian Kutcher first, center out of Mississippi State. 69 normal dev at 22 years old. So we got a really good depth O-lineman in Ian Don't Call Me Ashton Kutcher. We go to pick number 21. We have back-to-back picks here. So, I mean, again, unsurprisingly, we've had a good draft. Maybe haven't knocked it out of the park. There really wasn't as much pressure to have an amazing draft here. In a tight end you just drafted block. I don't know, but Kyle Pitts can. Maybe this tight end can block. Luke Zietler. 71 normal dev at 21 years old. 53rd in true value, beginning at pick number 117 as we draft the top 2 tight ends of this class. Welcome aboard, Luke Zietler. Did I check his blocking? No, because I don't care. And we'll also take that safety because we had back-to-back picks. Let's go ahead and draft George Hayes. 65 normal dev. He'll likely be cut. So unfortunately, he was a bit of a bust. But not too bad so far, considering we're pretty much going off of combine results. We're doing all right, given the circumstances. Heading into the 5th round. Oh, boy. Well, Jeff Mcdonald. He's pretty good as a center. Eric Magana. Not that bad at safety. Chad Ford, fastest running back in the draft. As a power back, we'll take him. Chad Ford. 63 normal dev. Well, maybe we should have looked for the other running back in round 1. Maybe we should have. We got a good wide receiver, but we didn't get a good running back. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. Let's get ahead to our next pick. Let's see. It is going to be Jeff McDonald, the center. 63 normal dev. Kind of swinging and missing here with the best guess picks, but that's okay. Devs, take it easy, man. We're certainly going to have a lot of roster management to do that I'll probably do off stream to save you guys the boredom. We'll take Eric Magana. 65 normal dev safety. Chad Ford practice squad. I mean, probably. But he'll never really make it. Let's keep trying to swing for the fences here. Braylon Bryant or Caleb Page. We'll take Caleb Page out of Bama. 65 normal dev. It's nothing but safeties and no linemen because that's who was here for depth in this draft, as bad as that is. But we'll keep trying to swing for the fences here. We'll take Braylon Bryant. 65 normal dev. Again, all decent depth players that we might be able to trade or not, but end of the day, we're not missing out on much. Just a shame we couldn't get our hands on a better QB. Let's take DeMarcus Mays, 64 normal dev. Take a kicker or punter. The problem is I don't need a kicker or a punter. I mean, I could, but it's not as if we're going to get anybody that's that great. We have 3 picks left. Best kicker off of Combine score is Jimmy Knox, the 23-year-old. Hollister's 22. Fuck it, Jimmy Knox out of LSU. 74, hidden dev kicker. At 23 years old, Jimmy Knox. Hell of a shout. Fullback and kicker god. It's true day. Every time you call it, it works. We'll take a punter too for the shits and giggles of it. And it'll either be Andrew Moran at 23 or George Swinney at 23. Let's go for Moran. Okay, not so much of a home run there. Not so much of a home run there, but that's okay. No, I didn't want to view my draft board. God, this menu's so laggy too. That's the worst part of it. And our final pick of this draft, because Lord knows we've made plenty of them. He'd be Fort Knox if he was a corner. We'll take Walt Katz at safety, who was the fastest safety and also the highest jumping safety of this draft. And the Katz man is a 66 normal dev, unfortunately. So hey, it was a decent draft. Meow. It was a decent draft. I wouldn't call it a home run of a draft, unfortunately. I think we should have taken a DT or the running back over the wide receiver, but I was happy to oblige and allow you guys your pick. So we're going to have a lot to do. But again, Banks isn't terrible, but Porter, Ward, Burse, even Kutcher are all pretty solid. So we did okay. Around the league, we'll take a look really quickly. So Eric Hoover, the #1 pick. Yeah, beast. Basically, they have another Penei Sewell, for God's sakes. Kevin Callahan. Wow, did the Cardinals miss. 2nd overall pick right there. 72 normal dev. 3rd overall pick was John Thompson. 70 normal dev. Oh my God. Arizona and Minnesota botched it hard. Dalton Coakley, 82 corner hidden dev. Oh yeah, he's going to be a monster. Brett Devlin, the quarterback I wanted. I couldn't trade up to #5 to get him, though. Hidden dev. Really good pick there for the Dolphins. Kenny Eaton, trash pick for the Rams. Forrest Harris, kind of a trash pick for the Chargers. Barry Booker, good pick for the Eagles. Marquise Callaway at quarterback, trash pick for the Giants. Devonta Ware at wide receiver, good pick. He was #1 on my list of wide receivers too. Any Super Bowls yet? 1. Josh Carruthers at corner. Trash pick for the most part for the Raiders. Of course, we traded down from there. Tamani Brown ended up being better than I thought he would be. James Hayes, decent pick for the Pats. Bradley Holloman, meh pick for the Colts. Andrew Cooper at corner, meh pick for the Ravens. Franklin Campbell, good pick. Good pick for the Bengals. David Whitlock, the linebacker. Whew, we dodged that bullet. He's not bad, but not great. Tremont Felton at DT. This really was a hit or miss round. And then Isaac Sapp, yeah. You knew what? We knew Isaac Sapp was going to be great. I was hoping he'd fall to pick 20. He didn't. So we traded away from pick 20. The Bucks took a worse receiver than we did. And the Jets took a worse linebacker than who we ended up with. But we took Nick Banks. I'd swap him out for Sapp. Or anybody else, really. Killings, good corner. He was our 2nd-rated corner. Macklin at DT. Kind of a miss for Jacksonville. Levi Flowers. Everybody else aside from Crash Andrews, shame yourselves. You wanted the wide receiver, not the running back. Look what you did. Look what you did. I'm trusting Crash Andrews from now on. It's okay. We still have an ungodly running back. Alex Watkins was the quarterback I wanted. He wouldn't have helped anyway. There was one good QB in this draft. One. And we would have had to trade up to 5 to get him. So, yeah, this really was a minefield of a round. How good was Stroud? Normal dev for Stroud, too. And, of course, we got Porter, Chad McPhee we weren't looking at. Boswell. Normal dev, so Boswell would have been a miss, too. We really would have needed to end up with Flowers or Sap. So, second round, Christian Moore. Yeah, God, we should have taken one of the DTs. Keelan Middleton, the wide receiver we were looking at, he would have been a miss. Donahue we weren't looking at. Matt McLeod we weren't looking at. William Ward was great. Benford would have been good, but he's 23, so, McDonald we weren't looking at. Thompson, Westbrook, Mooney. Look at the overalls here, too. They're dropping. Victor Swinton at running back. He was hidden dev. Griffith McCann, George Levy. Glenn Lake at wide receiver. He ended up being pretty good. 76 hidden. Agnew, 74 normal dev. 96 speed, though. So he wouldn't have been that much better. Kramer, Mason, Kramer. 74 hidden dev. I'm looking for names. Freddie Pemberton I had on my list. He was normal dev. This is a minefield of a draft, so I'm not going too hard on you guys when it comes to the, when it comes to that wide receiver pick. It was an okay pick. It just didn't work out. And there were a lot of misses. How good was A.J. Wilkerson? Normal dev. This is a really tough draft. This was a really tough draft. Solomon Farr would have been normal dev. How good was Marcus Dobbins? He would have been, we got the best linebacker of the draft, in my opinion. So, oh my God. Normal dev, though, for McIntyre. All right, so we made the right choice. I'd say with who we took at the end of the second, overtaking McIntyre. If we were going to take a running back, it had to have been Flowers in the first round. So it would have been either trade up to get the corner or just take Flowers instead of taking the wide receiver. So it is what it is. If we could afford to mess things up, Kyle Wilcox wasn't that bad either. If we could afford to mess things up, this was the year where, again, our team is already stacked. And we got Gil Burst, for God's sakes, in the third round. I mean, come on. So we did fine. Centario, what's going on? Where am I from? The great region of New England. So yeah, there might still be some other good people. Top pick of the third round was McIntyre and then Burst. Fourth round. We had the highest rated guy in the fourth round, which isn't surprising because we had a lot of picks in the fourth round. Fifth round was Jalen Langford. Normal dev for the Giants. Sixth round, 74, Jimmy Knox. And in round 7, 70 rated Emerson and Bowman. We had a good draft. We did. We had a good draft, especially when we were just, I don't want to say disinterested, but maybe just disenfranchised a little bit because of how our season ended. There wasn't a ton of pressure, as of course we're going to get disconnected. There wasn't a ton of pressure to have a home run of a draft because we still have a championship caliber team if we were to, if we were to stay healthy, which we didn't last year. So I'm all right with where we are. I'm all right with that draft. That said, we'll get a quick look at this team, right? For the most part, it's set. I need to kind of double check the roster. We might as well keep Jason Carpenter as our backup unless there's somebody else better. So what I'm going to do off stream is check the free agent list, see who's out there that might be better to get, and basically have this roster on the path of being set up, because there's a lot that I have to do, and it's very boring to stream it. As you get a look at our wideouts, some people are going to have to go unfortunately. Like, we just have too many wideouts. I don't know if McLaurin's going. I mean, Hardwick is safe. Andrews is safe. I mean, Holcomb might be on the way out after all this time. It's going to be interesting to see who stays and who goes there. Tight end-wise as well, I mean, Melvin White might be on the way out just to make room for Ward and Zietler, because Ward has to be the second choice option. Endo, I don't know, dude. I don't set up anything with the chat. So yeah, there's a good chance that White will be on the way out to make room for Zietler. Donatello Barker, that's a player. Again, O-line, like, I'm going to have to double check who the best depth options are. So we'll set up all this off stream, save you guys the time, but like, it's obvious this team, while we might be a little bit weak on paper at linebacker, we have prospects there. This team is a contender. This team is right back in the hunt of winning a championship. It's just a matter of who we elect to carry. What do we do with Jimmy Knox, since he has good potential? I mean, Scott and Butker are both still very useful. Like, what the hell do we do with Jimmy Knox? Do we just park him on the team as a practice, or not even a practice squad player, but do I just carry 2 kickers, and that way Jimmy Knox benefits from training camp time? It's probably what we're going to have to do. And again, we have the Raiders and Ravens first-round picks in the upcoming season because of those trade downs. And the upcoming draft, you know, the one after this one, will probably be even more important. So there is a lot to do with this team. I don't want to bore people half to death, so we'll handle that next time.